Well, brand new video. Jenny got me again. We're 124 miles or thereabouts from Beaver Interstate in the Great Basin. And really not much to see here. But anyway, we'll just, I got a 12-mile road. I turned on a road and I said, is the visitor center right up here? And she said, no. Visitor center back there in that little town of Baker. We got 12 miles to 10,000 feet, and right now we're at 9,000. All right, here's another one of these car shots. But anyway, this is one of those roads that right over there, the difference here is they have a lot of trees, so you wouldn't roll all the way to the bottom. You'd just go probably 5,000 or 6,000 feet. We just went past 9,500 feet. So you've got to, it's just wrapping around this mountain for 12 miles. Anyway, this is the last trap I'll get put in like this. I'm tired of squeezing the steering wheel. This is a heck of a note. We just drove 12 miles up a side of a mountain, and we got to the top, which was 10,000 feet, and it just dropped off down into this parking lot loop, and you can't see squat. So we'll stop on our way back and try to get some views of the big valley down there. Found a little clearing up here at the top where I could shoot the tops of these mountains. This big mountain right here is Mount Wheeler. 13,000 feet. I've driven further than that, higher than that. Looking around a little bit, it looks like another pinnacle up there on top of that mountain. This is a little campground we're in down here, but it's tent camping. I don't see any motorhomes or anything in here. Okay, this is not much of a shot, but this is one of the few openings I have. I'm about 9,200 feet. And you can see the basin down through there. And the reason they call this the Great Basin, which covers approximately the whole state of Nevada, is because the water doesn't drain to the sea from here. It stands in marshes and little lakes and whatever, but almost none of the water gets to the ocean from here. The Great Basin. We dropped down about 1,500 feet, and this is a route we took coming into this place, into the Great Basin, where no water, or very little water, reaches the sea. It just evaporates or stands in place. I think this is my last shot. I walked a little ways down and got another view. My biggest concern now is getting to the bottom. We're about 8,500 feet, and I'm afraid that I feel my brakes getting a little bit soft, but hope I don't have to run it into a wall. We'll make it. Alrighty, thrill a minute. We just got down from that peak up there, or close to it. We were at 10,000 feet, and I didn't burn my brakes up, thank goodness. We're headed now to northeast. We're going to go up towards Salt Lake City, not today, and catch Interstate 80? Yes, Interstate 80 and go back to Denver, turning toward home at last, thank goodness. Monumental point in our road trip into Utah. We're headed east, actually northeast a little bit, but we're headed back to Denver, hopefully pick up our motorhome if it's repaired. But I feel like I felt in Canada when we were on the boat trip. We kept going north and west forever, but we finally turned south, went down to Michigan, but we're headed east. Car shot. We're driving out here between wherever we just left and in the wilderness, and there's a big lake. It's not labeled. Can't find it on the map. But all of a sudden, bam, there it is. Well, this is maybe the biggest nothing burger we've done. We drove from Nephi, N-E-P-H-I, north on Interstate 15, about 80 miles up here to the Great Salt Lake. And it's almost depressing. It's so hazy you can't see it. 75 miles long, has 9 islands. It's fed by 4 rivers, and there's no outlet. It's 8 times as salty, little tourist observation, as the oceans, 8 times as salty as the oceans. But Jenny said, "You think I'd come to Salt Lake City and not see the Great Salt Lake?" I said, "Nope." I couldn't leave the Great Lakes without showing you this copper refinery across the highway. It's the largest copper refinery maybe in the world, and they get all their stuff out of the mountains right behind them. And I'm just looking across the highway, the interstate, from the marina parking lot, and now I'm getting the heck out of here. Had enough. Don't take long, look at a horseshoe. Great Lakes, I meant the Great Salt Lake. Awkward, we just left Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake, and there's Salt Lake City, jammed up against the mountains. Lake into Salt Lake City. We just start this little block tour around here. Be here an hour or so, a couple hours, but it's the first glimpse I've had in YouTube. We're in Temple Square, square block in downtown Salt Lake City, and this is the temple. And you're not allowed to go in there unless you're a Mormon. That says about enough for me. And in front of the temple, looking at the church, you are allowed to go in there. Assembly halls, but that's where they have their services. That gold statue up there is, I guess that signifies a temple. There are 150 of them, I think throughout the world. But we saw one of these north of Washington, D.C. All right, rather than me try to explain all this to you, if you can read this, it's 35 acres. It's self-explanatory. 7-foot marble statue called the Christus. Front view of the temple. We're out of the temple square. They got about a 12-foot wall built all around it. That's about as close to being a Mormon as I'll get. This is the wall I just mentioned. Right here in front of the temple is a gate, but this wall runs the perimeter of this whole city block. All right, here comes the tour guide. She'd get PO'd if she knew I was doing this video up. It's downtown Salt Lake City. We're gonna leave here in a few minutes and get on some interstate wilderness. I don't want any more of the real deal wilderness, but we're headed west on Interstate 80. And we'll drive 100 miles or so. So this is it for the video. I know I told you this video was over, but here's the state capitol. It's another one of those trip savers. So now you don't have to come out here and look at it. You can tell folks you've seen it.